It's hard not to think of the life and career of Derek Keith Barbosa, better known as Chino XL, as anything other than tragic. Conflict with his biracial background, sputters, stalls, and false starts in his music career, mental and physical health issues, and an oft-misconstrued line in one of his earlier songs have made sure of that. But Chino XL, who passed away due to suicide by ligature hanging on July 28, 2024, at the age of 50, was no slouch. Indeed, every step of his journey indicates a dedication to fighting against the forces against him. At least until the very end. Chino XL already had musical blood in his veins. One of his maternal uncles, Bernie Worrell, was a founding member of the legendary Parliament Funkadelic Collective. Another catalyst was his background. He was born in the Bronx, the son of a Puerto Rican father and a Black American mother, and raised by his mom in East Orange, New Jersey. Not surprisingly, Chino XL was drawn to hip-hop. He was still in his teens when he teamed up with producer and fellow New Jerseyan Kerry Chaos Chandler to form the duo Art of Origin in 1991. Art of Origin was able to secure a deal with an imprint under Def American Recordings. The label had been founded in 1988 by rap production luminary Rick Rubin, who reportedly signed Art of Origin because Chino's energy reminded him of a younger LL Cool J. But despite a few singles and B-sides, traction was slow. Chino wasn't exactly too distinguishable from any other East Coast hardcore rapper in the early 90s, and Chaos wasn't exactly totally committed to hip-hop, as he had actually gotten the initial recognition for not producing boom bap, but house music. So, creative differences is what eventually drove Chino and Chaos apart in 1994, and at least from Chino's end, the split was less than amicable. Ironically, his diss to his former partner, as well as one of the tracks on Chino XL's demo to Def American, foreshadowed what would become his signature style, a deft flow laden with punchlines fueled by metaphors, similes, and pop culture references. While Chaos would go on to become one of the most highly acclaimed deep house producers and DJs in the world, Chino XL forged on with his hip-hop dreams. No longer under an imprint, he was now signed to Def American Records, which Rubin had renamed American Recordings, and now had a distribution deal with Warner Bros. Records. The future was bright, or so it seemed. Warner was, and still is, reputed as one of the big three recording companies. But so far in the 1990s, it didn't seem like they were exactly thrilled with rap in particular, or black artists in general, as evidenced by its legal wrangling with Prince, releasing Ice-T from his contract due to the cop killer controversy, and selling its 50% stake in Interscope Records and its infamous Death Row Records subsidiary. Chino XL had to tone down on the more extreme elements of his rapping style in preparation for his debut album, Here to Save You All. The album produced 5 singles, one of which, Creep, contained a choral interpolation of Radiohead's namesake global hit. But Creep ended up not making the most noise. It was, rather, Riot. Or, more specifically, this lyric. Already half a decade into his recording career, Chino XL had seen enough of the music industry to know what kind of relationship he didn't want with it. But the simile he used to describe his feelings detached the subject by putting it at the beginning of the sentence, therefore giving the comparison phrase much more emphasis. And that emphasis was on a nasty rumor regarding 1995 imprisonment of a person who was now the most well-known rapper on earth, the crown jewel of the most infamous record label on earth, and the main author of the first commercially released double album on earth. Word was bound to get to Tupac, and it did. Without bothering to listen to the song with the offending lyric, Tupac threw in his name in some song he happened to be recording at the time. The name of the record? Hit 'Em Up. Released as the B-side to the single How Do You Want It on June 4th, 1996, Hit 'Em Up earned its reputation as the most venomous diss song ever released. But it left some people bemused. Dissing the Notorious B.I.G. and Bad Boy Records was understandable. Dissing Mobb Deep was understandable. Heck, dissing anything East Coast was understandable. But Chino XL? Who on earth is Chino XL? Perhaps if Riot had been released as a 12-inch, or Here to Save You All had moved a lot of units, that question would have never popped up. Chino XL responded with a scathing freestyle. Dan reportedly patched things up with him, but Tupac would be gunned down in Vegas in September, and with no widespread knowledge of their alleged truce, Chino XL would be forever crystallized in the mainstream rap world as the fledgling punchline rapper who dared make light of Tupac's imprisonment. And to make matters worse, Chino XL didn't have the sales to back him up. Creep, which had been primed for radio success due to the Radiohead inspiration, failed to even become a top 40 rap hit, let alone appear on the Billboard Hot 100. And Here to Save You All only managed to get to the lower half of the then R&B albums chart. Lost in the commercial failure was a guy who satisfied a segment of rap fans hungry for snappy punchlines and raw lyricism at a time of increasing commercialism of rap music. But guys like Chino XL didn't sell a ton of records, and by next year, when American Recordings left Warner Bros. As their distributor for Columbia Records, Chino XL was without a contract. Warner picked up from where American left off with his upcoming second album, I Told You So. But soon after the first single with Kool G Rap was released, with Warner's ongoing legal and corporate woes, the relationship ended for good. Chino would never get another major label deal for the rest of his life. I Told You So finally appeared on August 21st, 2001, under Mettle Records. By then, even fewer people were listening. But it mattered little to Chino XL, who now had the space to refine his uncompromising style, going through battling mode and introspection with sharpened couplets. Consequently, he cultivated a small yet fiercely loyal fanbase that would swear that Here to Save You All is some unfairly overlooked classic of 90s rap. It was also during this time that Chino XL became less conflicted with his mixed ethnicity. He was never quite black enough nor Puerto Rican enough, as evidenced by songs such as the self-deprecating What Am I? But with the emergence of Latinos in America, numerically and culturally, in the 2000s, Chino XL leaned more into his paternal heritage as an oft-unsung contributor to hip-hop, even naming his fourth, and for now, final, studio album, Reconstruction. He also got into acting, showing up on Comedy Central's Reno 911 and CBS's CSI Miami, among other TV shows and films. He even had time to be a graphic novelist. But Chino XL's passing was totally unexpected. It would take another 2 months for his family to reveal the actual cause of his death. Who knew that he was diagnosed with congenital heart failure in 2020? Who knew that he was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer earlier this year? Who knew that despite the hints he's published throughout a discography that includes 4 solo albums and 3 collaborative ones, he'd always struggled with depression? Who knew that he was working on an album entitled Darkness and Other Colors, which might never see the light of day due to the current battle between his estate and the album's A&R manager, Matthew M80 Markov? This type of end is not befitting of the lyricist with a poison pen. Chino XL might not have the best of discographies, and he certainly didn't have the best of luck. But respect is due for a guy who uncompromisingly priced the art of lyricism and rap music highly, and it showed in his supporters, his concerts, and, above all, his art.